She had flown in from Brazil, and they had spent nearly a week together. But here she is, in her birth city, where she hasn't set foot since 1991, when the two of them fled the fighting in Mogadiscio with their mother, first to Nairobi and then to Rome. Silent, he watches Bella as she approaches and adjusts the position of her camera, her shadow lengthening, her face widening in a knowing grin as her eyes encounter ours. He is relaxed, no longer worried. Bella more than anyone gives him comfort. And Bella more than anyone discomfits Valerie. Because if there is anything Valerie hates, it is having her picture taken when she hasn't prepared for it. And lo and behold, the minute Valerie's eyes fix on Bella's camera and its attendant paraphernalia, she begins to make ponderous, ungainly movements. Hardly has another moment passed before she beats the undignified retreat of a vanquished rival, slinking away without so much as a word of self-justification or apology. And R herds all the squirrels in. Unsettled, his confidence shaken, R waits for his breathing to even out. He rubs his eyes until they are sore. For a moment, he has no idea whether it is night and he is still dreaming, or whether it is daytime and he is coming out of a deep reverie. He looks at the ceiling and studies the walls. Then his eyes focus on his feet, and he notices the jagged edges of his badly trimmed toenails. He looks at them as if for instructions as to what to do, as if they might tell him the answers to his many questions. R has been in Mogadiscio for 3 months, seconded to the UN office in Somalia as logistics officer, charged with the task of facilitating moving the UN Somalia staff back to Mogadiscio for the first time since Somalia collapsed into civil anarchy. In the interim, UN personnel assigned to Somalia have been operating out of Nairobi, flying up in the morning and returning before nightfall once or twice a month. Not surprisingly, it's been impossible to achieve viable results this way, and yet the staff is resistant to leaving Nairobi, where they and their families feel safe. Even R, Somali by birth, is happy to have his children boarding in a school in one of the Nairobi suburbs, and these days he too feels more secure in Nairobi than he does in Mogadiscio. Yet his home here is a spacious studio apartment with a view of the sea and much of the international airport. At first, R lived in a sublet, but when his continued presence became necessary, he rented this apartment in a well-guarded, recently built complex, 20 apartments in all, each with 2 access points, one serving as a fire exit with steps leading down to a basement shelter in the event of a terrorist attack, the other facing a parking lot. 3/4 of the occupants of the complex are foreign, and the remainder of them are of Somali descent, albeit with alien passports. A number of the studios accommodate multiple part-time residents who take turns living there. It makes sense to share, because the cost of living in a secure place like this comes to an exorbitant $200 daily, including breakfast, buffet lunch, and a simple evening meal delivered to one's room. Residents of the larger apartments pay considerably more. And lately, the UN and some of the embassies based in neighboring Kenya have taken to paying heavy retainers so they can have rooms, suites, or apartments of their choice available on short lets, sometimes for only half a day, where they can conduct a meeting and leave, and not risk an overnight stay. Hounded by the memory of his dream, R feels disconsolately hot one moment, and in the next despondently cold, as if a life-threatening chill coursed through his blood. His life unfurls before him like a straw mat curling at the edges. But when he tries to smooth it out, his hands shake, and he hears a thunderclap in his head. R is a man a little past his midpoint in life, and therefore unable to decide in which direction to move. He knows this is what the dream was about. He makes an attempt to push his worry aside, walling off the nightmare and sidestepping his disorienting sense of dread. But what emerges instead is a memory from the evening before, when one of the UN drivers